And I'd like to introduce our coordinator, our membership chair on the AAUW California committee, our board, Marcia Swales. So if you don't mind, Marcia, we're ready for you now. Marcia, are you able to? There we go.
Perfect. Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Marcia Swales. I am the chair of the membership committee and a member of the board of directors for AAUW California. I am so delighted that you have decided to spend your time with us this evening. Our committee has been working very hard on trying to create some new, fresh ideas and resources that could be used to create growth in your branches. We are going to be introducing a resource and toolkit in October at another webinar where we will probably have by that time assembled the best ideas and practices from around the state. Many of you have been so helpful in giving us your ideas and your input. We have historical documents that have really made a difference in our conversations. So by October, you can look forward to a very, very well-written and practical toolkit. Tonight, I'd like to introduce you to the other 4 women who will be helping me with this presentation. I'm a little jealous of our member, Claudia Schwartz, from the Danville Alamo Walnut Creek branch. Right now, she is in Hawaii. And yesterday when we had our practice, she was actually in a boat, bouncing up and down with a big floppy hat. And she did her portion of the presentation and then said, I've got to go, there's a whale. So hopefully tonight you'll see Claudia, probably not bouncing up and down in a boat, but that was really fun. We also have Alice Matthews, who's from the Torrance branch. She's going to be sharing a lot of information with you. Alice is deeply involved in her branch. She's held so many branch offices, and she's also very involved in Tech Trek. Additionally, we have Michelle White. She's from the Beach Cities branch, which is the Beach Cities in LA. Michelle has a strong background in marketing, and as a member of Beach Cities branch, Michelle has done a lot to create materials that are so helpful in our outreach. And finally, I'd like to introduce you to Donna Lilly from the San Diego branch. If there's anybody who is the go-to person about colleges and university partnerships, it is Donna. So with that, I'd like to begin with the next slide. How do you like my little old lady from Pasadena? That's who I call this. When I found this picture, I loved it. But the idea tonight is that we want to grow. And of course, if we do not keep our mission at the core of everything we do, empowering women and girls, then we get off track. We need to hold that as the core value that we have. So who are we going to attract to AAUW? Well, we've decided that newly retired women is a key demographic. These are women who bring with them life experience, a lot of work experience, and also just life experience. These are people who are able to provide leadership and ideas based on their life up until this time. The other group, though, of course, we cannot ignore younger women. Younger women bring this passion for social justice issues. They are well-versed in social media, and they are people that just radiate enthusiasm for whatever cause that they're committed to. So this is our goal, and you're going to hear this throughout the presentation. By February 1st of 2024, we want to have grown AAUW California by 6%. Next slide. So tonight's objectives are these. How are we going to reach our 6% increase by February of 2024? Well, we found 5 areas that we'd like to talk about tonight, and I'm sure that if we spent more time, we could have many others. But the first one is creating the role of a branch ambassador, identifying college and diverse opportunities for growth, strengthening our branch communications, creating a culture of recognition, and collaborating with community organizations. Next slide. This chart was created by someone who's on our committee, and it's probably a little confusing. So I'm going to draw your attention to the very middle where it says 0 loss. Everything above that, it represents branches who have gained members. Everything below that shows branches who have lost members. Now you'll notice that the top 2 categories are empty. But my prediction is that by February 1st of 2024, we're going to show many branches who have grown 16 to 20 members for the first one and more than 21 members for the second one. There were 17 branches over the last year who just maintained their membership. They didn't grow and they didn't lose members. There were 25 branches who gained 5 members. There were 3 branches who gained 6 to 10 members, and there were 2 branches that gained 11 to 15. I can't wait to see this chart next year. It's going to be awesome. However, under the 0 loss, then we have a different story. There were 5 branches that lost more than 21 members. However, maybe this is a bright spot. There were no branches that lost between 16 and 20. There were 6 that lost between 11 and 15. There were 29 that lost between 6 and 10, and there were 41 who lost between 0 and 5. We're going to turn that around. Next slide. This is not necessarily the way AAUW looks at loss and growth, but one of the people on my committee made this chart, and I think it's helpful. It shows the state not divided up by branches or IBCs, but is divided up by counties. So you can kind of like breeze through this and see that wherever your county is located, that you had like in the East Bay, 26 branches. It looks horrible that there's a minus 211, but keep in mind, that's in 26 branches. And then it goes through the whole list. But the number that I would really like for you to pay attention to is under grand total. Last year, we lost 524 members out of 79 branches. So we're going to turn that around. We don't want to see those minus numbers anymore. We're going to go for growth. We want to see plus 600, plus 700. We're looking forward to the future. Next slide. Okay, so I've been talking about 6% growth. But what does that really mean? So I divided up the branches according to their size. If you're a branch of 150 or more members, you're considered large. 75 to 148, you're considered medium. And if you are 10 to 74, you're small. So then I chose specific branches out of the list of branches that we have. And Sacramento, as of February 2022, had 235 members. If Sacramento would grow their membership at 235 by 6%, that would mean they need to add 14 members. And now their new total at the end of this year will be 249. A medium-sized branch, Palm Springs, they have 91 members. If we would increase their membership by 6%, then they will have 97 members. And then I chose a small branch, Paradise. There they have 23 members. A 6% increase would be 1, and bringing them to 24. You can see that this is not huge. These are things that are very doable, that we can actually get these kinds of numbers by just doing some basic outreach strategies. Next slide. At this point, I would like to turn it over to our Hawaiian representative, Claudia Schwartz, who is coming to us from the island of Oahu. So Claudia, go ahead.
Aloha, everybody. Can everybody see me? Marsha, I don't see myself, so I don't know.
Well, you're there. I'm
there. Okay, great. I'm not seeing myself. But aloha, everybody. Yes, I am here in Hawaii, but I am definitely California. I'm motivated to grow California AAUW this year, as I have in the past. I've been the membership in the membership committee now for about 2 years. And before that, I was a treasurer for our Danville, Alma, Walnut Creek branch, and loved being a member and love what we stand for. But first, I want to thank Marsha for the opportunity to share about our branch ambassador program, which is a fairly new program that we are trying to implement statewide. And I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I guess that's what we were doing when we were being the person who approaches individuals to become new members and to recruit members, and always trying to put the best foot forward for our branch. As we all know, all branches have a VP of membership, and we have a great VP of membership in our branch who does also recruiting and enrollment. But few branches really identify an individual to become the branch ambassador. And this is a really important kind of distinction, because the branch ambassador is the person that's going to link that new potential member or that currently joined member to your branch activities and to your group and your association. So having one individual to be kind of the person that holds that new member's hand and interacts with that member, it's really key in the recruiting process. The branch ambassadors are also useful for troubleshooting problems. So, for example, if that member's not getting their newsletter or not able to get the messages about the events that are coming up, or they're not getting into an interest group, that branch ambassador can be that link, that connection to make these, make sure that they are fully involved and engaged members. Typically, as I said, the branch ambassador will meet the person sometimes at a meeting, or they are referred to that person by a current member. But sometimes the branch ambassador just meets people at their own events that are not AAUW members. And remember, you are representing AAUW. So whether or not you're doing it in a event at AAUW, you can still speak about AAUW and who we are and what we do. So one of the characteristics that I think are really important for a branch ambassador are that they are truly committed to the mission and vision of the association. There are many reasons why our members join, but to have somebody who truly understands the mission and the vision of the association and really wants to represent that full-heartedly, that's really important, because you are kind of like the cheerleader for the group. Don't want to use that to stereotype, but really that's what it comes down to. And you'll see why that's important later on when I talk about opportunities of engagement. Also, being extrovertive or being able to be extrovertive. I'll tell people I'm not an extrovert, but they don't believe me. And I'm really an introvert who becomes an extrovert at social events. And that's okay, as long as you're willing to kick it into gear when you need to. And also have an elevator pitch ready to go. You want to be able to express the mission of the association in 3 minutes or less, or 5 minutes. Just have a pitch ready to go about what your branch does that's so great, and what is AAUW about. Also, what I found helpful is that I'm really good at using Excel spreadsheets, probably because I'm a finance person, but keeping track of my information in a spreadsheet. So if I meet somebody, I write down their name, I write down when I met them, I write down when I called them, and I email them. So I keep track of their interests. That way, I don't rely on just my memory, which is not that great most of the time, but I also rely on just being able to go back to that spreadsheet when I need to make connections for them. Let's see, the branch ambassador, I mentioned one of the things that you want to do when you meet a person, the first thing I try to do is I follow up with a phone call right afterwards, like a day or two, or an email. You don't want to wait too long. You don't want that person to forget how they met you, and then you have to go through the whole trying to explain, do you remember me? But, you want to follow up right away for various reasons. You also want them to get excited about, hey, you seem like a great candidate. You are recruiting. So it's a little bit of a sales pitch, but it's worth it because they feel special. And you, obviously, that is your goal, to make them feel special. So I try to follow up right away with a call. And then after my call, I send out an email. The email will have the link to the application to make sure that they can apply right away, so that you're not giving them too much of a chance to get discouraged. So you want to make it really easy for them. And like I said, you want to keep track of those contacts so that you can go back and touch base with them afterwards and make sure that remind them, I send them the link. Did you have a chance to go through our newsletter, through our website, through our Instagram if you have it? Just refer them to your different social media platforms where they can get information and about your events and activities. So you're reinforcing, obviously, that opportunity for them to be in touch with you and with your association. Let's see. So after that, one of the things that we do at AAUW, we do monthly meetings and we do events. And I know a lot of us do events periodically, but making sure that when that new member attends an event, it's really important that you connect that new member or potential member with a point of contact. So don't let them just attend by themselves and stand on a corner or by the sidelines. Make sure that you immediately go to them. And that's why being the one person in charge of this job is really important, because you know who has been approached, who needs to be handheld, who needs to be connected. That is your responsibility. So you go to them and you say, "Hi, Chris. Oh my gosh, I met you there. I met you at the garden tour, and I'm so glad you're here at this event. Let me put you in touch with Deborah, who does Tech Trek, and you said that you were interested in Tech Trek." So I keep my Excel spreadsheet handy. I refer to it, and I said, "Oh, I remember Chris said that she wanted to be in Tech Trek." So I make that connection for her. I don't wait for her to make it, because I don't know, not everybody's extroverted. Not everybody is thinking, let's get involved. But if you just nudge them a little bit, sometimes they'll get more involved than not. And that's going to make it a lot better for them as a member of the group than just standing there listening to somebody talk. So in my opinion, you get them engaged right away, and that's going to make them a happier, more active member. Also, the other thing we do, and we're Liz Peters and I are just getting ready to do one in February, is a meet and greet for new members. And we do this at coffee shops. So a meet and greet at coffee shops, you invite your new members, your potential members, you bring some board members with you, and you just hang out and you talk about AAUW and the great things that we have to offer. And that really is another opportunity for new members and potential members to see what you're all about. So you're basically, again, trying to get them excited about who you are. And you are a champion for AAUW, and you're just trying to be as enthusiastic as you can be for them. Another way that you can connect new members is by starting a mentorship program. And we're just considering that this year. Basically, we identify a new member who has leadership skills or potential, and we connect them with a board member who can be their guide into that position. Or it could just be a membership with a mentor. Every new member deserves a mentor. So you could do that for every member if you have the resources. Another thing that you can do, and there are many opportunities for this, there's so many things you can do, but one other thing that we try to do is an annual event for new members. Kind of like to get them as a group. So here are all the new members for this year. Let's put them in a group together. Let's say this is class of 2022, and let them create community together. And it's a great way for them to feel part of a smaller niche within that big group. We're a large group. We have 250 members, so 220, 230 actually. So we are fairly large. So creating that little niche for them is really important, because it makes it easier for them to make a connection. There are just endless ways that you can do that anyway. So just have fun, and remember that active members are happy members, and Yes. Thank you, Marcia, for the opportunity to share what we do. So what I'd like to do now is hand it over. And I think we're taking questions at the end, so I'm going to hand it over to Donna Lilly from San Diego, who is now going to talk to you about how to get recruiting into businesses and community, and also college opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. This is Donna Lilly, and I would like to summarize some ways that campuses have increased membership in local branches by connecting with their local colleges. The Ukiah branch invited the presidents and faculty of 2 local community colleges to join the branch. And instantly, the branch gained 7 new members. Del Mar Locadia invited AAUW campus rep at Cal State University San Marcos. We have known her a long time, but we invited her to become a member of the branch, and she joined. And now she is Dean of Biosciences and Chemistry. And she recommended joining the branch to one of her staff people. And that staff person at the campus is a young Black woman. Her title is Director of Service Learning and Civic Engagement at the campus. She was delighted to be referred by the campus rep, and she became an active member of Del Mar Locadia. That's one way that the branch gained 5 new members this year. And the Redlands branch, they hold their AAUW meetings on the campus of the University of Redlands. That allows the campus to promote the branch. It promotes AAW on the campus when they have an event. Doesn't cost the branch a penny. This year, 19 diverse members joined the Redlands branch because of all this publicity. Welcome e-student affiliates. I know you know an e-student affiliate is someone who is not a voting member and they do not pay dues, but they can join your branch. Why would you want e-student affiliates? Well, many branches want e-student affiliates because it gives the e-student affiliates a chance to learn leadership skills. They're not in a classroom. You can give them a job. They can be part of your branch. And e-student affiliates are technologically savvy, and that can help your branch get into the 21st century. And it doesn't cost you money. Invite a college student and Tech Trek alum to serve on your branch. Now, why would you do that? Well, Healdsburg branch awarded $80,000 in scholarships to college students this year. And the branch college university chair, she tracks and posts the progress of these scholars on their branch website. Go to Healdsburg website and just see what is on there. 17 new people joined Healdsburg branch this year, maybe because of all the work they're doing on their website. Now, pay membership dues to state and local. How did Camarillo branch recruit 30 new members in the last 2 years? Not just this year, but in the last 2. They invited scholars who took non-traditional college degrees, and they invited them to their branch and paid their local dues and paid the state dues. Okay, Nick Whistle. This is the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders. And what should you do as a branch? What should you do as an interbranch? I think you should underwrite their cost of their room and their board, which is this year $565. Early bird registration goes from this week through April 3rd. The conference is in May 30th to June 3rd this year, and they're going to be in person again at the University of Maryland. Now, the diversity of backgrounds and the ideas of this wonderful conference is a transformative experience for the people who attend. Last year, they had online about 800 people. Usually in person, it's 900 to 1,000. And that includes faculty. So if you know a faculty member who would like to give a workshop at Nickwhistle and get paid, go to the campus and talk to the president about one of their faculty joining Nickwhistle. The Redlands branch, again, the Redlands branch, they send 2 people. San Diego County Interbranch has sent 2 people. When I say sent, they paid their $565. If there is enough money, then you can pay for their airfare. Well, it's going to be $1,000, but interbranches have that money. Why would you want to pay this? Well, consider the registration to Nickwhistle as a gift of positive change for a college student.
You should be able to see it now, and I'll go to the next slide. All good now?
This is good, and then I have 2 others before that. So this is, okay, this is my last, okay, this is fine. How will we make our 6% goal? I think there is a way that you don't know about. I just recognize our state manager of AAUW for California just sent me the National Members Without Branch designation. I used to follow this all the time. This is something that you should go to. Go to webteam@aauwca.org and request this list. It is 986 potential members. I decided I would go through the 986 members and find out how many live in San Diego County. There are 68. So I'm going to have to find someone in this branch or somewhere in San Diego, one of the 7 or 8 branches here, and we'll contact the members. It's a way to reach out to people who are not a member of the state and not a member of a branch. And I found, looking at those 68 people who are not a member of a state or branch, I know them, I know their name. They were members of a branch and they dropped for some reason. So I am going to find out. I'm going to call the 68 members and see if we can convince them to become a member again, which would be absolutely wonderful. Okay, Tracy, can you find using the variety of recruitment? Can you find that? That's it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, wonderful. Here's some other ways to recruit 6% or 7% or 10% new members to your branch. Use a variety of recruitment techniques to find new and very diverse populations. Okay, now I'm going to read to you, I'm going to share with you 5 stories who use local businesses to fundraise. La Mesa El Cajon branch here in San Diego recruited 14 members through personal invitation to their very, very successful authors luncheon. And they have, I can't tell you how many, there are many, many interest groups, and they invite people who are not a member to their interest group, and that's how they sell AAUW, and they get new members. Laguna Beach branch hesitated to raise funds through social media for the last couple of years, but they decided, well, let's just do it. Let's move on. And let's do it through social media. And they did. It was very financially successful. They raised $52,000 and 10 new members. Now, how did they do that? Well, they marketed AAUW in their community. They put on 2 literary luncheons, and 55 anniversary gala to celebrate their branch. And they asked virtually to fund through social media for the things they wanted. Tech Trek, you name it. Scholarships, whatever. Monterey Peninsula applied for and received grants from AT&T. Remember AT&T? We got a grant once. And their local city council. Del Mar Leucadia again got some money, matching funds from their local city council for Tech Trek. Marketing AAUW in the public arena resulted in 7 new members for the Monterey Peninsula branch. Now, the Morgan Hill, they have had their wildflower fundraiser for a long time. This year, they're celebrating the 40th anniversary. What they do is ask community businesses to donate funds for scholarships, and they did last year. Businesses donated $7,000, and throughout the year, Morgan Hill recruited 10 new members. San Jose branch college university chair, she creates a boutique fundraiser every year to raise funds to send students to 4 campuses in their local area. Community friends and members gave $100,000 to 22 scholars last year, and in the process, recruited 14 new members, all from the publicity to the diverse communities in San Jose. Okay, now, you all know about Start Smart workshops. If you don't, this workshop is designed to teach college students how to negotiate a salary and how to negotiate benefits. The workshop is available online at the national website. You can enjoy Start Smart workshop for free. It takes about 2 hours. And if you want to know how to get into that, why don't you email salary.aauw.org, or you can call me. You know me. On a countywide basis, 190,000 people have completed Start Smart workshops, some online and some in person. The cost of a Start Smart workshop for a campus, if you want to do that, go on campus and market AAUW through Start Smart, it's $950 for a 1-year license, and it's more than that for 3. I just got an email from UCSD here in San Diego from the math department. She wants to pay for a 3-year contract. You just never know when someone finds AAUW online and then they want someone local. So that's who I am, and I can help them. You know, pay equity for women is the biggest goal of AAUW. That's why AAUW started Work Smart workshops in collaboration with civic entities. Well, Marin County invited the public to attend 2 Start Smart workshops at the College of Marin as a fundraiser. And it was very successful because they titled the fundraiser Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they got lots of money. It was amazing. They recruited 8 new members, and Work Smart is also online, free if you want to take it. It's on the website. Okay, staffing AAUW booth at non-traditional community events. Claudia just talked to you about the reasons why, so I won't tell you the reasons why. I'll just tell you. San Clemente Capo Bay branch invites their college president and their elected city and school officials and business owners to in-person scholarship fundraisers at the college, at the 2 colleges in their communities. The reason they get so much money, they became a 501c3 entity. And San Clemente Capo Bay has been very successful in recruiting faculty and students through this process, and the new AAUW student club that they have created. So yesterday I received an email alerting me that a new AAUW student club is up and running on the campus after a 2-year hiatus of no personal contact. And the Redlands branch has done the same thing. They became a 501c3 entity, and the money just flowed. It came in. And in the process, they recruited 19 very new, diverse people, age-wise. They were very, very happy. And that ends my report. And I would very much like to be in touch with you if you want to be in touch with me. And now I would like to turn this over to Michelle White.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Everyone. I'm very excited to be with you here tonight. I've been a Beach Cities member since 2019, so relatively new to AAUW. And I was the branch secretary for a bit, and now I'm working on their communications team. I'm here to talk to you today about another way to meet our 6% membership goal, and that's through branch communications and branding. Now, why is branding important to your branch? As you know, we're all exposed daily to branding for the food and household products we buy, the cars we drive, and the media we consume. But unlike companies that sell products, a nonprofit organization sells its story, and good branding is essentially good storytelling. Now, your branch's story is critical to establishing your brand identity. And if you tell your story in a consistent, authentic way, it will begin to build trust with your target audience, and in turn can help you retain your existing members and attract new ones and gain support for your programs. Next. So, what does good branding look like in your communications? I'm sharing an example of the exterior side of a trifold brochure that we created last year for Beach Cities branch. This was an update to an older piece that had been available. Now, the objective was to have one brochure to communicate who we were and tell our story to potential new members as well as future donors. Now, starting on the far right, that is essentially the front panel of this folded piece. And this is where we've stated our branch's purpose or our mission. Now, identifying your mission in a clear way is an important step in creating a strong brand identity. We've also included the AAUW branch logo very prominently. We want to build awareness for this and recognition for this name and logo. So we are now including it on just about everything that we put out. We've also chosen a color palette and fonts for this piece that align with the logo and our brand. Now, to support our story, we've used stock images. These are high quality, they feel very positive, sometimes very aspirational, and we really want to try to represent the diversity of our membership as well as the young women we serve. Now, on the far left panel, we've listed our promise or the benefits to membership, and each has a very short description with a small graphic icon. Now, it's very important to identify and promote the benefits of your branch that your members value. What do your members care about most about your branch? You know, what motivates them to stay involved? If you don't know or you aren't sure, talk to your members or survey them and find out. Now, below this is a call to action. It's our ready to join section. And this addresses some frequently asked questions about membership. And then it's followed by a QR code that drives our new members to the membership page of our website. I'll be talking more about that tool a little bit later in the presentation. Now, the center panel is essentially the back panel of our brochure, and this is where we've provided a myriad of ways of getting in touch with the branch. So our web address, our branch email, and then our social media accounts, Facebook and Instagram. There's even a mailing address and instructions for those who might be interested in making a donation. Next. So this is the actual interior of the folded piece, and this is where we spend a little more time explaining our mission and talking more about the organization. So on this first panel on the left, we have explained our mission, a little bit more about AAUW, and then reinforced our values. And then below that, we start to highlight all of the programs and various events that are standing events that we host every year. In the center panel, we're also including a few quotes from members about their involvement and what it means to them to be part of AAUW. And this is sort of a personal touch. And it's important to hear what members really think about being involved in our programs. We've also continued to use stock imagery, again, to represent the girls and young women we're serving. And then finally, on the right panel, we invite people to engage with us. We list the ways they can get involved, making it very clear, giving them suggestions of ways they might enjoy AAUW. And then below that, we emphasize our commitment to research, advocacy, and education for women and girls. Now, all of these elements delivered in a compelling way and very clear, consistent way really help to make for good branding in your communications pieces. Next, please. So you might be wondering how we created that brochure without having a designer. Well, everything used to design that brochure was available through canva.com. Now, canva.com is a website and an online graphic design tool that helps you create print, digital, video, and social media materials. It offers thousands of templates, all different kinds, stock photography, fonts, and graphics to help you design more professional looking pieces. Now, the membership is free to individuals. My daughter has been using it since middle school to do her school presentations. And it's also free to 501(c) registered nonprofits. With the nonprofit membership, you're given multiple members can access the account. And that really enables and encourages collaboration. You can share layouts you're working on and get feedback from other members of the team. And then lastly, Canva really does evolve with your branch. It enables you to file and organize and store those materials for future use and reference. Next. So here are just a few examples of the assets we've created in canva.com. In addition to the brochure, we've created all of our program meeting flyers as well as event invitations. And these can be printed through Canva or you can download those files and take them to a local printer. We've also created recently a new Beach Cities directory cover for our online membership directory. And this cover now has a much more of a Beach Cities feel. It's definitely more in line with our brand. And then we've done posters and signs. We wanted a sign to have at an event for our Tech Trek participants. We wanted something to promote Beach Cities. And so we created a poster. I've also created our newsletter there, logos for our KBUG mentoring program, and social media posts. The sky is really the limit when it comes to Canva. This is just sort of tip of the iceberg, but it's a wonderful tool. It takes some practice, but I've actually found it very intuitive and a lot of fun to use. So I highly recommend it as a way to improve and elevate your brand communications. Next. So getting back to QR codes, this is sort of our new marketing tool in our communications tool belt this year. QR stands for quick response. The codes are essentially made up of a series of squares and dots, think like a product barcode, and they are scannable by most smartphone cameras and iPads. Once scanned, it'll take a user directly to a piece of information online. So if you haven't used a QR code ever before, you can practice right now. There's one in the upper right-hand corner of this slide. To do so, you open up your smartphone camera. Now, this is assuming you're not watching the presentation on a phone. But if you're not, you can open up your camera as if you were going to take a picture, hold it over the code. You're going to see usually a little outline of the square, and you'll get a link, a web address that'll pop up on the screen near that code. Press your screen directly onto your screen of your phone, and it will direct you to the information. And in this case, this will take you to the Beach Cities website. So again, a really great tool of directing people to exactly what you'd like them to see. Next. So I wanted to let you know that it is very easy to create a QR code. If I can do it, anybody can do it. The first step is to Google search QR code generator, and you will get a number of companies websites that'll allow you to do that for free online. In this case, this is an example of qrcode-monkey.com. The only thing you really need to have handy is whatever that web address or URL is for the information you're trying to create the code for. Have that handy, follow the steps, and you'll be able to download a QR code and use it in various materials. Next. So I'd like to touch just a little bit on social media tonight because I think it's a great way to support the branch and as well as grow your membership. Now, social media has this unique ability to build community and create connection with a brand. And unlike other forms of media, it really encourages people to engage and interact with what the content that you're posting. It also gives your brands a chance to sort of share its story and its successes. Beach Cities, for example, has talked about the successful Tech Trek program, and it's highlighted members for their work and contributions to the branch. Social media can also help you promote your events and support fundraising efforts. We post all of our program meeting flyers on social media and encourage people to attend, and we send reminders during our fundraising periods. I have just a few tips for managing social media. The first step is establish a social media manager, ideally somebody who uses social media and is really interested in learning more. And then establish a branch photographer who can take photographs at different events. In our case at Beach Cities, we have an amazing social media manager who is also our photographer. And she is able to take photographs at events and then have access to these photos for her various social media posts. The second thing is to establish a social media posting calendar, and that's to essentially plan what and when you want to post. You'll plan around the programs and fundraising periods and then fill in with other content. This consistency of posting is very important. It's important to your followers. It's also important to the algorithms that drive these websites. Lastly, I would say don't be afraid to repost content. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can pull information from your newsletter articles or your program flyers and reformat that for social media posts. You can also post slightly older content and make it relevant. For example, you can create in case you missed it, a post about an event that happened 2 weeks prior, remind people how much fun it was, and encourage people to join the next time. Planned well and consistently, social media can really be a strong tool for building your brand and reaching both your existing and potential new members. I hope you found these suggestions helpful. And I hope they are helpful in you meeting your branch's 6% this year. I'll now turn over the presentation to Alice Matthews from the Torrance branch.
Thank you, Michelle. That was great. That's an area we all can use is more social media. We've heard a lot of great ideas of how we can increase our membership from our panel of speakers. One other suggestion is actually to create a culture of recognition and appreciation. By doing this, you create an environment where your members feel that they are valued and seen for their contributions to the success of your branch and the AAUW organization. And this is really critical that you recognize them. So why would we recognize and reward? Just think back when you were younger and you got that first award and how excited and how fun it was. That feeling doesn't really go away just because you get older. People love to be thanked and recognized, and we need to remember that. By creating that culture, the culture of recognition, your branch will actually experience some great benefits. For example, this improves relationships between leadership and the members. How? Well, when people feel appreciated, they're more likely to get involved. They also don't get burnt out as quickly, thus creating a more willingness to volunteer to help and take on leadership roles. This culture also helps attract new members to the organization. Your members are your membership advocates. We all have VP membership positions, but actually every member should be an advocate. They will share their experiences of being a member and the positive culture of your branch, which in turn will entice others to join. And last, but certainly not least, this improves retention rates on your current members. Sometimes we focus only on getting new members and forget to appreciate and acknowledge our current members. When members feel gratitude and appreciation, they're much more likely to be engaged in your branch. Next slide. Now let's look at some recognition program ideas. What can you recognize? Well, there's a number of things that you could recognize within your branch. We've just listed a few. Years of service is pretty obvious. You have lifetime members that have been with your branch for 50 years or more. But we also have leadership roles. Many times members take on roles they occupy for many years, even though they really originally signed up for maybe only a couple years. We had an example of that this fall. Peggy Manga, who was our EPC Tech Trek chair, she had been in that position for 7 to 8 years and stepped down this fall. And we highlighted and recognized her at our Tech Trek celebration in October when the position was taken over by others in the branch. But we need to remember that, the people that actually step up to the leadership roles. And then outstanding contributions, membership recruitment, fundraising, program planning, marketing for the branch. All these are key elements that make a branch successful. And we need to remember to thank and recognize those who make that happen. Leadership service, which is really, I would call leadership roles. We've touched on years of service, but just taking on a leadership role should be recognized and thanked. We have multiple programs that need leaders: Tech Track, T-Tag, Start Smart, Work Smart, and even the board members. We need to reinforce those who step up and take on those roles. All branches many times have trouble getting people to step up to those roles. So we need to make sure that we recognize those who have done that. And membership recruitment. Every member needs to be a membership advocate. Make sure you acknowledge those members that have recruited the most members, as well as those who do marketing of the branch and national organization and who navigate your use of social media accounts to attract new members. So what are some of the ways we can recognize these members? Have a membership appreciation event, specifically to draw attention to new members, outstanding contributions, etc. Create a recognition wall on your website. On this wall, you could include board members, heads of committees, new members. You could also create a member of the month or quarter and put a section in your newsletter. Make sure you include photos, because that helps the other members recognize who you're highlighting and who the new members are as well. Share the member of the month on your social media sites and what is going on with the different groups. Send thank you notes. That's a lost art, and these are unexpected but greatly appreciated when you receive one, and it takes very little effort. Monetary recognition. Now, typically when you talk about rewards and recognition, that's probably the first thing that pops in your head. But in reality, the gift cards, the free memberships, lunch outings, meet and greets. If you look at studies, the studies show that people actually value recognition more than monetary gifts. So the good news is that it's not that critical to spend money to create a culture of recognition and appreciation, which is great. Next slide. I want to show you just an example of a certificate of appreciation. This is actually available on the California website under funding, and it's recognizing contributions to the AAUW fund. This is a great example of something fairly simple that you can create. You could probably do this on Canva, but we are in the process of trying to make available to you in the future a generic certificate of appreciation that you can totally modify to meet your specific needs. This is a very inexpensive way to recognize a member in your branch. Next. So some types of awards that are available are some service pins. And thanks to Redlands Branch, they created these years of service pins that you see over to the right. They have 5-year through 40-year, as well as a silver member and a gold member. And those are available through their website as well as on the marketplace. And then on the left is a pin that was created by Napa County Branch. And this is typically given to past presidents. It's a beautiful pin that you can get in silver or pewter. And if you look closely, you can see the letters AAUW embedded in that pin. So those are available as well on the marketplace. There's also named gift honoree programs that national runs, and then state has a similar program. But basically the national program is if the branch donates $750, each $750, they award a named honoree award. So for example, if you donated $7,500, then you would obviously have 10 of those awards. These pins, like I said, are available on the California website. Some pins that aren't, the next slide, that are not available are shown here. There's a California pin on the left, as well as a Tech Track, some AAUW pins, a member, recruiter, and life member. So what we need from you is, do we need to bring those back? Or should we just design something totally new? We'd love your ideas on that. And if any of the branches already have other pins or items that they use in recognizing their members, please pass on to the state membership committee. We would love to add them to Marketplace and share with the other branches. Next slide. So have some fun. We also, in my research, I found these are recognition buttons, and they're very inexpensive. And as you can see on the left, they say a variety of different things. High five, I made a difference, way to go, great job, thanks for all you do. Just little phrases that you could literally hand out these buttons at meetings to recognize members in a fun way for their contributions. These are available on the internet, and they're, like I said, they're very inexpensive. You literally can get a bag of 48 buttons for less than $10. So a nice cheap way to show your appreciation to your members. Next slide. So if you're looking for something a little fancier, some bling, we also found a couple of great ideas on the internet. On the left, the big crystal diamond pin, and on the right are the Maya Angelou Phenomenal Woman stemless wine glasses. You can get 6 pins for less than $15, and the wine glasses come in sets of 2 for $25. Any member would be thrilled to receive this type of bling. Both of these items are available on the internet, but they're not necessarily recommended or promoted by AAUW. At the end of the presentation, we have added some links for you to have access to the things that we have mentioned. So take a look for that. And now I have the privilege of turning over the presentation to our state membership chair, Marcia Swales.
Thanks, Alice. That was really helpful. I hope I get some bling in the future. I'd love that. Our last item that we're going to talk about tonight is how will we make our 6% goal by connecting with our communities. One of the ideas that we've come up with is using an app called Nextdoor. It's like a community billboard in a way. If you would go on, Nextdoor is wonderful because it just is your geographic area, your city, or maybe a couple of townships that are connected. What kind of things show up on Nextdoor? People are saying, I lost my cat. Here's her picture. If you see her, give me a call. Others will say, I'm needing a plumber. Do you have any recommendations? But I've also seen local community groups advertise fairs, lectures, things that they're just trying to invite people to come and be a part of in our community. It's free. That's the beauty of it. So if you are going to have a special event for your branch, use Nextdoor. It's amazing how that gets the word out, and it is really a grassroots kind of communication piece. The next idea is to have a community conversation. A couple of years ago, well, more, it was before the pandemic, we had a community group that partnered with an association I was part of, and they invited a earthquake response specialist to come to a meeting of community members. And here I am from the Midwest. I've never really experienced a big earthquake. And so I thought, well, maybe I should know about this. 50 people showed up, and this gentleman just gave all kinds of ideas about having your earthquake kit, keeping shoes under your bed every night before you go to sleep, so that in case there's an earthquake, you can get out of your house without stepping on glass. I mean, things like that were just really informative to me. So I want you to be thinking about what are issues that are relevant to your community. Maybe it's drought mitigation or fire mitigation, but there are all kinds of issues that are relevant. We've also learned that asking to use a community room at a library is inexpensive. Or for instance, you could use the library at an elementary school. These are affordable, they're accessible, and they're great ways to have these community conversations. Partnering with other women's groups is also a very helpful way to introduce AAUW to other community members. We have had AAUW partner with the League of Women Voters when they have their candidate forums. We've even had some of our branches, they have started to meet at 55 plus community centers, where members who live in this community center wander in and decide they want to join AAUW. It's a great place to leave our literature. It's a great place to invite people to come to our events. And other organizations, Chamber of Commerce, of course, is one that you could partner with. But looking at school or community fairs or events is a great way where you could have a table, brochures, and opportunities to introduce AAUW to your community. Keep in mind, and I'm sure all of you are aware of this, but if you do recruit members at public events, we should be using the Shape the Future program, where if a member joins because of these public events, their national dues will be cut in half. It's a great motivator and a great incentive to get people to join. And no matter what the event, make sure that you always invite the attendees to join AAUW. Next slide. So tonight, I want to summarize what we've discussed and what we learned. The main thing is growing AAUW membership involves every committee, but most importantly, every member. We are all branch ambassadors, and we should not hesitate to invite our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors, our family to become members of the AAUW. Our intent is to grow 6% by February 2024. We will be creating the role of branch ambassadors throughout California. We'll be finding ways to increase the number of diverse members. We will engage with our local college students, faculty, and staff. We will improve our branch communications with a focus on outreach. We will become a culture of rewards and recognitions, and we will find ways to connect with our community. Next. So I am going to conclude tonight with a simple idea, and that is, if we want people to join AAUW, we first must create a place of welcome and belonging. There is nothing worse than going to an event and hoping to become engaged in the organization or the group, and no one speaks to you. That's happened to me a few times, and I just know how off-putting that is. So let's make sure that we are welcoming, that we're warm, and that we make everyone who walks into AAUW meetings or events that they belong. My favorite quote, and I had this hanging on the wall of my classroom when I taught high school in Minnesota, and this meant a lot to my students as well, but it is simply this. I learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I hope that all of us in AAUW will keep that in our hearts as we welcome new members and we get the kind of people that want to be committed to our mission of empowering women and girls. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and I believe that we will have a Q&A if our state leadership team can help us with that.
Yes, we can. I've been collecting some interesting questions in the Q&A. This is Dawn Johnson from the communications team speaking. And many of them we've been able to answer directly to the people when they enter their questions. But I have a collective 5 or 6 that I think would be of interest for everyone to hear the questions and the answers, and that hopefully your folks on the communication on the membership committee can help with our answers. So let me go ahead, and Marcia, you can either try to answer it yourself or throw it to a committee member that you think might be better suited to answer the question. So I have about 5, so bear with me, but I think everyone will find them interesting. The first one someone asked is, how did you arrive at the goal of 6%?
That's a good question. We looked at the fact that we've lost 4% of members each year for the last 3 years, and part of that was because COVID hit our organization hard. So in order to stop the exit, the damage that creates and loss of members, we decided that let's go big, let's go bold. At first, I wanted to go 10%, but I was talked down to 6%. If we lose 4% in 1 year, let's offset that by growing 6% the next year so that we can at least show growth and have a trend, hopefully, that will be upward in the number of members that belong to our organization.
Great answer. Thank you very much. Another question that we had is quite a few people were interested in knowing about where they can buy marketing materials, specifically some of the banners and tablecloths and signage, and whether you can get your logo on pins and flyers and pens and things like that you could be handing out at your tabling events and so on. Do any of you on the committee have a good handle on where to purchase those, where to source those kinds of marketing materials?
Alice and Michelle, why don't you both take an answer that?
I can talk to the posters. I think most of what we've created for Beach Cities is created through Canva. You can go online and find things like folders, and you can have stickers created for your, say, your membership materials. You can essentially find places that will print the files you create in Canva. So if you want to create buttons with the AAUW logo on them or your branch logo on them, you can certainly do that through various sources online. And Canva would be the sort of vehicle to create that logo or that file that you would need to do that. But that's the only experience I have in terms of finding sources, is to just hunt for them.
That's great. Did anyone
add to that? Canva is probably the least expensive way to utilize or create those kind of things, the banners, the posters, etc. And it can be intimidating if you've never used it, but find a college student or a high school student. I guarantee you they could whip it out in 30 minutes or less. And then all you have to do is take it to Office Max and ask them to create whatever you're looking for. And as far as the bling and the pins, etc., we would love your input on that if there's something specific you're looking for. And obviously you can troll the internet and find a lot of different little neat giveaways that aren't that expensive.
I also would like, it was fun looking at pins. I went to eBay to find the old pins from AAUW. And I found like there's a whole category of AAUW pins that come from the past, from other states. But I picked the ones that seem most relevant to what we're trying to do.
Etsy is another location to look as well. They have a number of things that are handmade and small businesses that are creating those things. So it's another option.
Great. Thank you very much. And while we've got you on the screen, Michelle, I just got a question popped over, just confirming that whether the materials you create in Canva can be downloaded as PDFs.
Yes, you can actually download them as printer PDFs, or and it'll sort of give you a little guidance. These are this format is great for printing, or this format is ideal for emailing. You can download a JPEG. Lots of different ways of getting your materials prepared for however you're going to produce them.
Great. Thank you so much. Moving on to a slightly different topic. This, I'm sure, Marcia, will be a question that you'll want to toss to Donna. We got a couple of people asking, how can we find our e-students and our college students so that we can communicate with them? Where can we get those lists?
We have an expert.
Well, I used to be an expert on finding the e-student affiliates. I cannot find them on the website anymore. Alice, have you found it?
Yeah, because I had a student that wanted to become an e-student. And so
Yes.
if you go on membership and you look
Yes.
at your college affiliates, and you can pick your state, and you pick your state, and then it will have all the colleges in alphabetical order. Once you click open the college, it will have contacts and any members associated.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. I know how to sign them up when you table on a campus, but okay, thank you. The new website sometimes is a little difficult to navigate.
You think?
But we're doing it. We are hanging in there. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it takes a village to answer a question, and that's why we have committees. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for hopping in and helping out on that. Another question that came up and about the topic of throwing a wide net to the public to recruit people and encouraging people to join, and then suddenly having to hit them with the college degree requirement. Do you have some suggestions about how to manage that? Anyone on the committee?
Claudia, you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah, that's a hard one. And unfortunately, as we all know, National, I think, voted on this recently, and we are sticking to the university degree. So what I try to do is I'm very honest. I say, you know, this is a program for women with an associate's degree and a university degree. And I'm not apologetic about it. It is who we are. It is in our name. It's what our national office is. And, you know, what has been really, what was really in line, it was amazing how much more work we still have to do to educate women, even in this country. And I think that's for me, it's where I go. I say, you know, even though you can, but maybe your daughter will, or your niece, or you can still attend our meetings. They're open to the public, and you just invite them to be part and maybe have their significant others join who can. We don't exclude them from coming to our lectures and our meetings. So that's important for them to know that too.
Thank you. It's I think it's a delicate situation that we've all encountered.
Yeah, can I add one thing to that? I think a question should be to the person you're speaking with, do you have a 2-year degree? A lot of people do not know they can become a voting member with a 2-year degree. It doesn't have to be a 4. And some people didn't get the degree, but they have been in school. So that's a fine line.
I've got a couple more that just popped through, so let me quickly try to get these answered before we sign off. Donna has mentioned, well, sorry, not this Donna, a different Donna, has kindly shared and reminded all of us that Shop AAUW, the national website, has pens and tablecloths and other marketing collateral that's for sale. So you might want to take a look there at Shop AAUW for that. We've also been asked if the Beach Cities branch might be willing to share their brochure for other branches to modify.
Michelle?
I don't see why not. I'm happy to share what we've created. We're proud of it, and if it's helpful to other branches, then yeah, I'm more than willing to share it with other teams.
Thank you. Let me see if there's anything else that we want to share for everyone to hear. We've got a couple of more complicated questions about getting e-student affiliate memberships and so on. So I would advise those people to contact Marcia directly at the address in your chat there and get those more specific questions answered about e-student affiliates and so on. Someone has suggested if you are doing a written promotion for your event, you can head people off at the pass with the college degree requirement by saying in writing, in a gentle way, we invite all women with a college or university degree to join blah, 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 or attend blah, blah, blah. So sort of a nice suggestion from the audience. I think that those are the main ones that I think would be of value to share. I mean, we may not have gotten to all of them, but hopefully most of them have been answered tonight or in the written form.
So with that, I want to say thank you for attending. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know I did. And I would like to also mention that this has been recorded, and it'll be posted on the website. Give us about up to a week, but look periodically to see if it's been posted before that. And that's it. I think thank you from all of us, and hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.